Good afternoon, Corey Harlock here with Key Hire Solutions, the creator of Key Hire Solutions. Welcome to our live stream where we talk about human capital and talent acquisition issues for small business owners. A little bit about Key Hire. Key Hire is where consulting and acquisition come together. We work with small business owners for any number of reasons around human capital, but the top three are if people want to upgrade a leadership position, we can help them with that. If people are creating new roles, new leadership positions in their company because they're scaling and they need to add that new layer of leadership, that's really our sweet spot. Over 60% of the work we do is working with our owners to create and develop new roles and then acquire the talent to fill them. And then the third one is a full human capital plan, action plan. So current state, here's where we are today. Here's where we want to be in 3 years. Here are the roles we need to add. Here's how we need to reshape the organizational chart. We help do that. We help create those new roles, and we start going out and acquiring the talent to fill in those roles. And we specialize in growth. If you want to grow, we help you bring experience and capacity into your business. So the topic today is a good one. It's time. One of the biggest issues we're hearing in the street right now is I don't have time. I need people, but I don't have time. And there's this vicious cycle that starts where I don't have the people, so I need to do more, take on more responsibility in my company. Because I have more responsibility to do, I have less time to find the people. Because I don't have the people, I have to take on more. And when we talk to our business owners and start looking at their organizational charts and filling in spaces, and we see their names and their key people's names appearing lots and lots and lots of time over and over again in these key roles. So we have a lot of people, we have few people doing a lot of roles. A lot of those roles aren't aligned. What I like to call, we're breaking our people's necks, meaning we have them working in a direction, and then we ask them to stop what they're doing, do a 180 and work in another direction. Do something completely unrelated. We ask them to do accounting, and then we ask them to do marketing, as an example. And that's a really hard space to be in because your efficiency and your productivity just goes way down. It takes a long time to get back in the groove. Plus, it's just hard. It's exhausting, and then we're burning our people out. They're having to work extra hours because these transitions are so hard for them. So the most important thing we can do is find a way to make time to acquire the people we need to realign our key people, to have them do what they're good at, what they love to do, what they're passionate about, so we can keep that fire lit, keep them productive, keep them happy, and not have them leave. Because, and keep this in mind, it doesn't matter how happy your people are, they're getting calls. There is a people shortage out there. Your people are getting called, and they're not getting like a call every 6 months. They're getting called monthly or weekly, and they can only say if you're in a situation where we're stressing them to the limit and they are loyal to you and they are dedicated, there comes a breaking point where one day they're going to say, well, heck, I'll listen to what you have. And as someone who does talent acquisition, that is the only opening I need to get their interests and start a dialogue and start engaging with them. So treat your people well and get staffed up. So how do we do that? We don't have the time. So the first thing I want to talk about here is the process by which you're using. The hiring process is really broken up into many, many different processes. We have and most people think the hiring process is I post a job, I get a great resume, I do an interview, I make a hire, my life is improved. People come in and everything is great. I call it kind of the home run mentality. I make one hire and everything is solved. And it's not. I prescribe to the theory of 4 singles. We don't try to hit a home run, we try to do 4 singles. If I go back to that original home run philosophy, people post an ad, and there's one of two things are happening. People are either being overwhelmed with applicants, or people are getting no applicants. Let's look at the overwhelmed scenario. The great thing about posting a job online is anyone can apply to it. The bad thing about posting a job online is anyone can apply to it. And I know when you post on a job online, and I hear this all, and people say, "Oh, we're getting a lot of great candidates." I say, "Sure, let's really dive into that." If we get 100 people that apply, there's a safe chance that more than 50% of those people don't even live in the right area code or zip code. They don't live in your area. They don't live in your state. Might not even live in your country. It might not even live in the US. So we eliminate a lot of people, but we got to screen those resumes to find this out. Then there's a huge percentage of these people that they might live in your zip code, but they don't have any of the experience you want. But we got to screen those people out. And so what the philosophy is, I'll post an ad, I'll get applicants, I'll review those resumes, we'll get a good one, I'll call them, I'll interview them, we'll put them through the interviewing and hiring process. The problem with that is the majority of your input is wasted time. You spend 90% of your time eliminating candidates from the process. That's wasted time. If you have any other if your accounting process in your business was 90% wasted time, what would you do with that process? You would, at the bare minimum, you would have a look at it and try to improve it, but you'd probably throw it out and just create a new process. But somehow with acquisition, talent acquisition and engagement, wasting time is considered the way to do it. So there's big waste of your time. Every morning you're screening resumes. And then because you're busy, you might not get back to those people right away. In our current situation, there are 0.6 people per open job in our job market in the US. It's all about speed. So if you like a person and you say, "I'll call them tomorrow," they're hired tomorrow. So now we've wasted our time screening. We finally found someone. Because we're busy, we don't get to them right away. We lose out. We go back, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. If we do get them to come in for an interview, we might interview them. Then we call them back, say, "Hey, we really liked having you. We'd like to bring you back." And they go, "Yeah, thanks. I've already taken another job." That's happening too. So now we've wasted more time. Or you get them all the way to the finish line, you give them an offer and they say, "Thanks, but I have a better offer because there are 0.6 people per job out there. You're not the only one talking to them." And they take that job. So now we've wasted even more time, and we got to rinse, repeat, and go all the way back to the beginning. The days of having multiple candidates, we'd like to see 4 or 5 candidates and we'll pick the people we want to interview. That is gone by the wayside. It does not exist today in this market. Speed wins. Speed and money wins. I tell this to my clients all the time. Whoever gets there quickest and offers the best package wins. That's it. So how do we accomplish that? How do we get to the finish line first and put together the best package, or at least a competitive package, to land the people we need for our business? And here's the secret. Every part of your process has to mean something, and you should be putting the work in at the front. So the key hire process is we put all the work in at the front. We do all of our diligence at the front. We create all of our messaging. Then we start doing outreach. We do inbound. We don't post and pray and waste time. We identify exactly who we need, what size company they need to come from, how many years of experience they need to have, where they need to be, what specific exact experience do you need to have, what is the culture they need to come from, what are the core values they need to exemplify. We build that out in what we call our avatar. And that's where we spend most of our time, is getting ready to go to market. Once we have that, and we all agree, client and key hire all agree on this is our person, we use that to build our unique marketing message or acquisition message for the candidate. Once we build out our messaging, we then go into the market and find the people that meet the criteria we're looking for, and we engage with them. We send them messages. We start a conversation. Now, they'll go through a very detailed process, 15-minute pre-screen, 45-minute to 60-minute culture interview, group video interview. Then we'll bring them on site. But every step of the process is a go, no go. We don't prescribe to, we'll see it, we'll know it when we see it. We don't prescribe to surprise interviews. Hey, we really like them, but we'd like to bring them back one more time. That's a great idea if you'd like to lose the candidate in this market. So every step of your process has to be detailed and go, no go. So by the time you complete a video interview, you should know if it's the person for you or not. So when you bring them on site, we shift from interview to sales, right? If there's a couple questions we want to get wrapped up or a few more things we just want to touch on, we can do that at the beginning of the on-site interview. But then the on-site interview becomes a, hey, look at, here are the stakeholders, here are the people you're working with, have a chat with them. They'll tell you how great it is. Here's our facility. What do you see? What would you change? But it really transitions from us getting information we need to selling them on the idea of working for us. And at the conclusion of that on-site interview, that is where you sit down and say, go, no go. If they're a go, we get an offer out within 24 hours. And we contact them and say, hey, we were really impressed. We're going to have an offer for you. What do you have going on? Just want to be clear. Where are we? We talked about numbers. Are they still in the ballpark? Because your offer, again, the days of, well, we'll throw it a lowball offer and then we'll negotiate with them, those are gone. Because if you put an offer out and it's not your best, another company, at least one company, is putting out their best offer. And if you're not competitive, they're just going to say, hey, thanks, but no thanks. I got a better offer on the other side. They weren't playing around. They just gave me exactly what I wanted. We get the best offer we can out, and then we walk them through it and make sure they're comfortable and go from there. The other thing you have to worry about is rescinded offers, and it's epidemic right now. People are rescinding offers because employers are understanding that the labor market is tough, and they will counter, and they will beat whatever you offer them. They will try to beat it sometimes. And in my experience right now, it's about 40% of the time I'm having candidates come back saying, my current client just put an offer in front of me that I can't walk away from. So it is super competitive. But if we want to save time, the idea of creating a process where our input is valuable. We front load our work, but once we get into the process, we only need to interview on average 1.8 candidates per job offer. We're not interviewing 5, 6, 8 people to hire one. We're interviewing 1 or 2, because once we get them to the offer stage, we're sure they're the people we want, and they're sure they want to come work for us or for our clients. And so it's important to have a very defined process of exactly what you're going to do, who's going to be involved, what the steps are, so you can move efficiently through that process. And it should take you no longer than 10 business days from first contact to on-site interview and offer. That's long. 10 days is long right now, depending on the role. If you get into VP level, C-level positions, it's going to run little longer than that. But for up to management roles, supervisor managers, even in director level roles, you need to move quickly because people are knocking on doors right now. So I hope that helped. I hope that helped you understand the time management. Rethink your process. Is your process the problem? And I'm going to argue it is. It usually is. So rethink the process, be more effective and efficient in your process. Be very thoughtful about every step. Don't waste your time, right? Don't spend a bunch of time on inputs that don't matter. Okay, Maddie, I think that's all I have on that. What do we have? Do we get any questions here today? How strict should our initial screening process be? This is a great question. So it ties into exactly what we were just talking about. So we're talking about valuing your time and making every step a go, no go. So with our process and what we teach our clients to do, the initial screening is a 15-minute telephone call. It's very scripted in terms of the expectation and the agenda. The script sounds something like this. Hey, super excited to be talking to you today. Here's how our next 15 minutes is going to look. I have some questions for you. I want to understand a little bit about your background and experience. Then I will tell you all about our opportunity, answer any of your questions, and then we can talk about some next steps. Then we launch into our questions. And our questions are not around, tell me about a time when. All I want to get from the first initial 15-minute screen is, quite simply, do you have what we need? Do you have the experience? I'm not concerned about culture at this point. All I want to know is, can you check all the boxes we need in terms of experience? Is the company you're working in the right size? So if I have a 50-person company and I want to build experience and capacity into a leadership role, if you come from a company of 30 people, you probably don't have the capacity I'm looking for in terms of being able to design process and procedure to help us grow. But if you come from a 200-person company, that's promising. How many years have you been doing this? What size company do you come from? And you would want to know exactly the key pieces of experience you have. And they could be things like the software system you're on. If that's numero uno, if you're looking for a software administrator, they got to have that experience. They just have to. If you want them to come in and have impact and bring capacity and be a difference maker in your business. I currently have a client that has manufacturing and they work with ASME codes. Have to understand ASME, ISO 9000. These are important things for this particular role we're working on. If it's a technology position, what languages have you worked in? Are you a full stack, back end, front end developer, whatever those things are? Have you worked with AWS? What cloud servers have you worked with? So you really want to dive into those key pieces of experience. If it's production position, do you have lean management, safety background? If it's in sales, maybe do you have specific training? Shout out to Sandler, maybe. Do you have you done any Sandler training, or have you done any specific sales training? Have you led? Have you hit targets? Do you work with quarterly goals? We want to understand exactly how they've been working, and does it fit into what we're either doing or wanting to do? And that's it. And then we go, yeah, this is great. You're meeting the criteria we have. If they don't, that's where I just say, hey, you know what? I don't think it's going to line up today. Your experience is great. It's just not perfect for the role we're looking for here. But if they do have the experience, that's where I say, hey, this lines up really good. Let me tell you about our company, what we have going on. What questions do you have for me? And then next steps. Hey, here, if you're interested, we're interested. Here's the way the rest of this process is going to run out over the next week, 10 days. So I hope I answered that one, but that's kind of the key hire process. What's next, Matt? How do I find quality candidates with this amount of resumes? Okay. Again, we talked about the post and pray era. Man, it is a tough way to find people right now. It's not ideal. If you're looking for experience and capacity, it's not the best. We call it post and pray for a reason. And I always say the best people in your industry that have the experience you need are not surfing the job boards for their next opportunity. If they're good, they're not on job boards. I often refer to the job boards as hiring the best of the worst. So, hey, we have like 5 candidates that aren't great, but this one looks like the best one. So let's bring them in. It's not a way to improve your business. It's not a way to grow your business. Quality, finding the people you need, as I mentioned, we go back and we front load all the work. We do avatars, we do deep dives into exactly what is this two-dimensional picture of this person we want to hire. On paper, a snapshot of who they are. Then we target them. So how do you target them? Associations are a great way to do that. Where do they hang out, right? So the way to think about this is, if I were this person, where am I going to be hanging out? I might belong to this association. I might belong to this organization. I might be in this database or in this group on LinkedIn or a technology forum or whatever it is. You can also access databases. Recruiters are always selling, hey, we have the database. We all have access to the biggest databases in the world. You can buy Indeed's database and cruise that database, find the people you want and send them direct messages. Heck, they might even have a phone number on their resume. Call them directly. LinkedIn is a huge database. All the job boards, the technology, they all have databases. And most of them will sell you monthly access to those databases so you can surf and find those individuals and reach out to them. That's that whole inbound concept. Identify who you want to talk to. And if you're going to spend any time trying to engage people, engage the people that fit the criteria you're looking for, instead of putting up a job where anyone, qualified, unqualified, in the right zip code, in the wrong zip code, in the right country, in the wrong country, can apply and waste your time. Don't let anyone waste your time. Send messages to the people you want to talk to, engage with them, and start doing that way. That way, the only resumes you get are the people you've reached out to and that on paper look like someone you want to talk to. Okay, Maddie, what's next? Did we get another one? There we go. How do I make my hiring process more efficient? Okay, so this is another great question. So I touched on this earlier. Every phase of your hiring process. So if we look at the hiring process, is a pretty generic term. So we have the diligence phase, right? What are we looking for? Unfortunately, that is the most overlooked phase, but is the most important phase, right? Just throw together a job description, what do we call a wish list, put it on Indeed. That would be the diligence and the engagement phase of the process. That's our bread and butter. That's where we put all of our time. The diligence and engagement is key to getting people's interest, piquing their interest with an interesting message or an interesting call, getting them to go, hey, I think I need to learn more about this. This is different. I get more comments from people online that say, I'm not even looking for a job. I'm really happy where I am, but your message was so different. I just want to talk to you and see what's going on. When they say that, I know I have them, because if you give me a chance to talk to you, we give the good, the bad, and the ugly, but people appreciate that. It's refreshing, and we just have a nice, honest approach. So diligence and engagement. So we call it target, engage, hire. So we do our targeting, our diligence, then we engage. Then truthfully, the hire is there's an interview process and a hiring process that happens after that, right? Well, the hiring process is the umbrella. There's an interview process and then an offer and negotiation process. Under all of this would be the hiring process. So spend more time on your targeting, your diligence, and your messaging, and your engaging. Target, engage with people, and then have a clearly defined hiring process, step by step, who's involved, who talks about what, how long it takes, the time in between, go, no go. Make sure every step of the if at the end of the process, you're like, well, I don't know. I think they might be okay, but I'm not sure. You're not asking the right questions, and you haven't built the right process, and you're wasting your own time, and you're wasting the time of everyone involved. Every step has to be go, no go. They come in, how were they? Well, they were kind of. That's when I say to my clients, then they're a no-go. If you are at all hesitant, they're a no-go. Okay, well, what about, okay, well, we need to know, because we're not bringing them, we don't have time to bring them back in and kick the tires and not be clear. So if we're going to bring them in and we're going to ask for people's time, we have to have a clear agenda. We have to get the exact information we have to get, out of respect to them and their time. Because if we go back and say, you know what, we didn't do such a good job the first time we were here, we think we need to bring you back so we can take another swing, they're either going to say, I got no time, I'm too busy, or they're going to say, I've already taken another offer. Or they're going to say, I'm expecting an offer, let's not do it right now, I'll let you know how things go. So just make sure everything is detailed and ready to go, and every step is a go, no go. And I think that's it. That's our, we usually stick with 3. So key hire, what important things to know about. Number 1, if you want to keep up to abreast of what we have going on here, you can follow our LinkedIn page. That's where we post articles, comments, post these live streams, any other information we come along that is, the information we put on there is specific to small business owners and how you can improve your human capital, retention, all that good stuff. Anything to do with your people, that's where we live. Number 2, we offer a consultation, a free consultation. A lot of people out there are struggling right now, and they have a lot of questions. So if you want to schedule 30 minutes to chat with us, we would love to do that. We are a help-first organization. And if you have questions about how to hire better, anything we talked about here today, any other human capital issues you have, schedule time with us. It's free, no weirdness, no sales, good conversation and actionable help. We always want to send our people away with things they can put into action in their business after the call. We're here to help small business, and that's what we want to do for you. And Matt, was there anything else? Download our ebook. There you go. We have, if you want to learn more about building your engagement and interviewing process, our ebook that we have at this link is a comprehensive guide to the key hire proprietary hiring process. It's our target, engage, hire process outlined in detail, step by step. So you can literally build your very own highly efficient and effective acquisition process to bring in the talent you need. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it. We're right on time here today. So we will see you in 2 weeks. Until then, stop grinding and start growing.